And welcome to the Skokie Village Board meeting of July 20th, 2026. We will be led in the Pledge of Allegiance this evening by our village clerk, Minal Desai.
Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So again, good evening. The first matter before us is to determine if there are any objections from the board for having both trustees Lissa Levy and Allison Pierce-Lovan participate in this meeting remotely, one due to medical, one is away for work. Any concerns, colleagues? Okay, thank you. If not, I call this meeting to order, and I ask the clerk Desai, please call the roll.
Trustee Pierce-Lovan?
Aye.
Trustee Schechter? Here. Trustee Kimani Levy?
Here.
Trustee Robinson?
Here.
Trustee Iverson?
Here.
Trustee Lissa Levy?
Here.
Mayor Tennis?
Here, and we have a quorum. The next item on the agenda is the consent agenda, and I would like to note that the village manager has requested that item N of his report be removed from tonight's agenda. So it is being removed, and it will be back before the board for consideration on August 17th. Is that correct? Okay. Is there anything else that anyone would like removed? Yes?
Yes, please. I'd like to remove item 11J, please.
Okay. Get there. That is again part of the village manager's report. Yep, okay. So with that removed, is there a motion to approve, or both, the one item taken off the agenda, the other item removed to be considered separately during that point of the agenda? Is there a motion to approve the remainder of the consent agenda? Trustee Iverson moved. Second? Trustee Kimani Levy. Any comments? If not, will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Pierce-Lovan?
Aye.
Trustee Schechter?
Aye.
Trustee Kimani Levy?
Aye.
Trustee Robinson?
Aye.
Trustee Iverson?
Aye.
Trustee Lissa Levy?
Aye.
Thank you, and the motion passes. Before we go further, I'd like to note that tonight's consent agenda included some milestone advisory boards and commissions changes. First, I'd like to congratulate and acknowledge new commissioners who are part of the class of 2026. As I call your name, if you're here, because it's a crowd and I'm not able to pick everyone out distinctly, if you're here, please stand. Shana Ehrenberg, appointed to the Commission on Family Services. Deborah Klein, appointed to the Plan Commission. And Brian Tran, appointed to the Technology Advancement and Transformation Commission. Thank you so much. These individuals from our community bring well over 75 to the number of people that this board has appointed to advisory boards and commissions in the past year. Thank you for your willingness to serve our community, and I'll note that these are all first-time commissioners, so thank you. I'd like to also acknowledge the resignation of longtime Plan Commission Chair Paul Luke, who is moving to the Fine Arts Commission, where he began his advisory board and commission service many, many years ago. Paul has served this community with diligence, excellence, and dedication for decades. Will you all please join me in thanking Mr. Luke for his decades of service? I'd also like to thank Mr. Richard Whittrey for serving as the new Plan Commission Chair. Mr. Wittry. And finally, I'd like to express thanks to those individuals who tonight we reappointed to continue their service to our community. Nathan Norman as Economic Development Commission Vice Chair, Jeffrey Berman as Plan Commission Vice Chair, and Scott Schamberg as Chair of the Technology Advancement and Transformation Commission. The next item on our agenda is to recognize Ann Rainey, the long-serving Executive Director of Turning Point, who recently retired from her service to our community and the region for over 3 decades. I have a proclamation that I will read aloud for the record, and when I'm finished reading, I see Ms. Rainey in the audience. If you would be kind enough to meet me by the flag for some photos. It's a long one, and I'm going to have to take a few breaths here and there, as is deserved by her body of work. Whereas Ann Fisher Rainey, for 30 years, has been a trendsetter and innovator in the field of community mental health, where she is a recognized and respected leader in this discipline in the state of Illinois, most recently having just completed her tenure as president and chair of the statewide Illinois Association of Behavioral Health. And whereas Ann Fisher Rainey has served as Chief Executive Officer at Turning Point Behavioral Health Care Center for the last 25 years, and under her leadership, Turning Point received the highest ratings from the Commission on Accreditation of Rehabilitation Facilities. Whereas Ann Fisher Rainey was honored with the 2024 Lifetime Achievement Award from the National Association of Social Workers Illinois chapter. And whereas during Ann Fisher Rainey's 30-year career at Turning Point, the agency has expanded services and programs to meet the growing needs of the community, providing mental health support to a vulnerable population, of which 94% are low income. Whereas Ann Fisher Rainey's creativity and determination resulted in the birth of innovative programs such as the Living Room and the Mobile Crisis Van, which brings services to the community. Whereas Turning Point is a vital, not-for-profit organization in Skokie and neighboring Evanston that serves over 1,000 clients annually, providing outpatient therapy, residential programs, case management, and crisis support. And Turning Point has been a critical part of our community's safety net for 50 years for residents who experience mental health issues. Whereas Ann Fisher Rainey has volunteered to help numerous other governmental and nonprofit organizations and has provided Turning Point's assistance to many community projects. Her efforts have greatly enhanced the lives of Skokie residents and those of our neighboring communities. She has rendered great professional assistance to the village of Skokie throughout her career. One example is her critical work with the Skokie Health Equity Network, where she co-chaired the Access to Behavioral and Mental Health Committee. Now therefore I, Ann Tennis, Mayor of the Village of Skokie, do hereby congratulate and honor Ann Fisher Rainey on her retirement from Turning Point Behavioral Health Center, acknowledging her living legacy and wishing her the very best as she enters her next chapter. Ann, please join me.
I cannot accept this without saying thank you. So I just have a few things to say. Dearest Mayor Tennis and distinguished leaders of this amazing village, I am so grateful for this occasion, and I'd like to say thanks by remembering just one of many experiences that made me proud to be part of the fabric of Skokie. I imagine you have heard that the ideogram or kanji for crisis and opportunity are closely related in Japanese. There are lots of ways to utilize this insight, but I want to say that my service with the village has led me to see this juxtaposition in a very special way. It is this: when we don't belabor the goodness, opportunity, or badness, crisis of a thing, maybe lots of things become possible. Here's my example. On March 19th, 2020, we at Turning Point were faced with a paradigm crisis. In a very short time, we needed to shift our mode of work from face-to-face to virtual. Were we anxious? Of course, a little. Were we unable to move forward? Absolutely not. Not only did the good minds at Turning Point begin to parse and solve problems, but our village partners were also moving through their own challenges, finding a way forward in ways that would help us all. Our village health department was ready to provide vaccines for our team. N95 masks were on their way from our healthcare partners, and our precious colleagues at the library had equipment to share that would allow our clients without those means to begin virtual mental health services when we reinvented individual and group therapy the following Monday. Why did this possibly perilous process go so smoothly? Because the leadership of our village has always been proactive about seeing the road ahead and leading the way. Because this is why we have community conversations and task forces that show the curiosity and innovation Skokie is known for. When a possible challenge seems to be headed toward us, we respond not with skepticism, fear, and defensiveness against something other than us. Instead, it is the hallmark of this community to lean in and say, hey, what's going on here? Tell me about yourself. How can I help? Or Skokie welcomes everyone. These attitudes and actions mean the world to a nonprofit who has settled into your community. Thank you for supporting and encouraging me and Turning Point for these last decades. Thanks for continuing to do so. I'll be cheering you on.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is the presentation of a very exciting community initiative. It is Dolly Parton's Imagination Library, launched in our own Niles Township. With us this evening is Ruth Orme Johnson from Niles Township, who is chairperson of the local Dolly Parton Imagination Library Planning Committee and Director of Social Services for Niles Township, and Jim Shaponiak, the Executive Director of the Skokie Community Foundation. Ruth and Jim.
Hi, folks. Can everybody hear me if I'm standing up straight, or should I lean down?
No, you're fine standing straight.
I'm good standing up.
Yes.
Thank you, John.
You're welcome.
Okay, cool. I feel so sorry for making you stand, gentlemen. I'm sorry. I won't be long, I promise. Okay. Hi. Hello, I'm Ruth Orme Johnson. I am the Director of Social Services over at Niles Township. The township covers all of Skokie, and so if you live in Skokie, you live in Niles Township. Where do I click to continue my presentation? Like that?
Is there a mouse under when you pull it out?
There
On the
is.
keyboard?
What about that one? Look at that. There she is. Okay, great. The Dollywood Foundation is a national nonprofit founded by one Miss Dolly Parton. Her, sort of famously, Dolly's father was functionally illiterate as an adult, She saw how this was a struggle for him growing up and wanted to help other people avoid that. And when she became wealthy and famous, decided to devote a lot of her life and her wealth to doing what she could to eradicate illiteracy among small children. So her nonprofit was founded in the late 80s, and the whole mission is to get books into the hands of small children. It is free for all families who register. It is a pretty simple process, an online process for children across the country. But what those families need to do is to have a chapter in their local area to be able to register their kids. And you didn't have one until April, and now you do. Due in part to a partnership between several local agencies, I'll talk about them in a minute, and the Dollywood Foundation itself. So, yes, as I said, the whole idea here is to build libraries among families. Parents, I see a lot of you in the room, you know what it's like to have to get all kinds of stuff for your kids. There's all kinds of things you need to be thinking about and taking care of. This is one more thing that it sort of takes off your plate in some ways, because it sends a book home once a month, every month, from the month the child is born all the way through when they turn 5. The first book that every
Ms. Johnson, would you kindly address the board?
I'm so sorry.
That's what this is for, and everyone else can hear, but we do have a policy that speakers really and truly address the board. So thank you for your understanding.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
It's my first time, guys, sorry.
So,
Thank you.
all good.
Thank you, Mayor Tennis, apologies. So the intention for this program is to build home libraries, free high-quality books. Every family, every child begins with The Little Engine That Could, ends with Here I Come Kindergarten. That's why you got 3 copies, Nick, sorry. Because despite having 3 children at different ages, you still get that same book, that's what you start with. But they're then graded based on the age of the child as time goes by, so that will fix itself. So yes, over 3 million children receive a book every month across the world. Just millions and millions of books have been gifted since 1995, when this particular program of the Dollywood Foundation began. So these books are selected by a committee. Every year the book selection changes at least a little bit. You'll see in a couple of slides how that happens. Some books rotate off of the list, some rotate on. And this committee is made up of educators and education specialists who are dedicated to making sure that people have a nice, healthy list. These books are also, yes, personalized with the child's name when they come, which is sort of fun. So the kid gets a little package and it's got their name right on it. It's very sweet. Oh, where did my list go? There it is. Okay. All right. Inside the cover of these books, and this is really cool. Man, I wish we had copies. Dang it. Inside the cover of the books are little reading guides that include some tips about how to best approach the book with your child. It can be hard for some families, I think, to know exactly how to read interactively, especially if there's language barriers or other difficulties, and this is a way to help families get a sense of what to do there. Starts with board books, and again, grades up into more complex, more sort of interesting, thoughtful literature as children grow. These reading tips are on those inside flaps, and they come in both English and Spanish. Books are also available in both English and Spanish. Not other languages yet, unfortunately. We are working with ECA on that. I can answer questions about that if you have questions about translation in other languages. Right, so here's the book list. So as you can see, children born in each particular year have a list of books that they will receive. This is going to avoid the issue of children in the same household getting the same book every single month. And then this is the bilingual book list. So again, there are books in English, and then there are books that are in both English and Spanish. Families can sign up for either list. So whether you're an English speaker or a Spanish speaker, you could receive either books from either list. And folks can have a little bit of a mix as well. Some of the certain books are bilingual anyway, whether they're on the bilingual list or not, which is sort of fun. There's also Braille books available for anyone who's in need. That's something where it does require reaching out to the Imagination Library specifically, but they are available for families who are in need of books for for those who are low sight. So this is why the program matters. This is more of the meat and potatoes of why this is important. I think the idea of building a home library sounds sort of endearing and sweet, but the science also bears out here. When you build a home library, you just increase the likelihood that the family is going to read to the child by about 30%. It's a really significant impact on the child themselves, because if you don't start reading to the child until they're 5, then you've missed a lot of really important brain development. So this gives you the chance to read and build those skills, build that love of learning and of reading and of books early on. It creates a shared bond between mom and kid, or parent and kid. This is important in part because it's a really important key component of self-esteem and self-image and attachment to the parent. As a social worker, I'm really excited about. And also, again, one of the really important things here is kindergarten readiness. This program is a proven kindergarten readiness program. It's with this 28.9% increase in readiness for kindergarten based on the studies they have commissioned. Right, and so again, brain development. None of us are born knowing how to read, or how to write, or how to interpret text. And so those are all skills that are developed over the course of early childhood. So the more effort we can put towards developing our young child's brains, the better off they are when they do actually enter a formal learning environment. So this is a little bit of the nuts and bolts about how the partnership works and about how we got started. Jim will go over this a little bit more, but essentially for the Dolly Parton Imagination Library to come to your community, it needs to partner with a local nonprofit and or nonprofits in our case, in order to have the ability to both fundraise for the program and to actually get access to the families locally. The library itself has the machinations to be able to mail books, they can handle your lists, they can do a lot of wonderful things, they select the books themselves, but we're the folks on the ground who are making sure that they get to the right people. And these are, so as I mentioned, there's a steering committee. So in other parts of the country and world and state, this is just one agency partnering with the Dollywood Foundation. Here it's lots of different agencies, because, why stop at one agency when you can have, but it's nice when we all work together. Part of it is that Niles Township is made up of not just Skokie, but Skokie is our largest community by far, but all these other public libraries have also come on board to make this a cross-township collaborative effort. Additionally, the Early Childhood Alliance and the Education Foundation, thank you, Lisa Hanley, have come on board to develop all of the different internal processes and workings so that this can be a successful program. And then this is a little bit of the breakdown of the cost and the number of young people we're talking. As you can see, the majority of children in this program, is about 3,900 of them are located in Skokie that we hope to serve. These numbers are a little over half, so it's 65% of the children in this age band in Skokie, because that's sort of our target number to hit in terms of number of children enrolled. There isn't an anticipation that we enroll every single child, just about 65%. The wonderful thing in Illinois is that the state pays half of this program. So it is half the cost that it would be if we didn't have a lot of support from our governor, which is great. But that does mean that the community needs to come up with the remaining funds. So one of the things that we've been doing is building up our sponsorships, building up our networks of people who are interested in and able to provide assistance. Jim's going to talk about those individual sponsors in a little bit. There's some benefits that come with sponsorship. We're also offering a storybook brunch in the beginning of November. The idea here, this is going to be really fun. The idea here is that high school age kids are going to dress up like different storybook characters and read aloud to little guys, and everyone's going to eat pancakes. I stole this idea right out from under a different group in Indiana, so I'm not that cool. I just thought it was a really good idea. So we're going to do it here too. There's already a group of folks over at D219 who are excited to put on costumes and read aloud, a bunch of theater kids. It's going to be great. So you can sponsor our storybook brunch, become an individual donor. Again, this is a fairly low-cost program for what it is. It's only $78 to cover a kid for the whole 5 years, which is pretty remarkable in my opinion. And for one child, it's $15.50. So in terms of how one can give in a way that is meaningful as an individual, I think it's pretty incredible and impactful, actually, that one person can very easily sponsor a child. This is a little bit more about our fundraising goal and where we are currently, which is a nice time. And this is a little bit about the Imagination Library and where it's covered. So we're the only program to do this at the township level thus far. There are other people who are following suit, which is great. And I'm going to let Jim go back here a little bit and talk about some of our funders. Let me see if I can have, do I have our sponsors here?
No, we don't.
I don't. Okay. You got him. All right, I'm going to let Jim do it. Go for it.
Thanks, Ruth. So it was just about a year ago, Skokie Community Foundation works with the Skokie Chamber of Commerce. We have quarterly nonprofit roundtable meetings, and it's basically a chance for the nonprofits that serve Skokie and Niles Township to come together and complain about things and come up with questions about problems they have and how maybe best practices can help each other. And it just so happened that one of the people who attended that meeting is a woman named Andy Dreilich, and she just happens to be in charge of Dolly Parton's Imagination Library for the state of Illinois, and she just happens to live in Skokie. And in the rest of the state, it had to be an entire community that went in for the program. So Cook County, because of its very large size and the great number of municipalities and jurisdictions that cross the area, were like, Andy, come talk with us, make us figure out how we can help this work. So we took a look, and Skokie by itself is a significant number, but if we started looking, it really goes by zip codes, because that's how we get the nonprofit rates from the post office. And the Community Foundation is the sponsor because they need a 501c3 to be that nonprofit organization. We figured out that if we use the zip codes that make up Niles Township and the communities served by it, we would have a group of people that would is actually larger than a lot of the communities in Illinois. And so part of the benefit of the program is even in those parts of, like for Morton Grove, 1/3 is in Niles Township, 2/3 is in Maine. Niles, only 1/4 is in Niles Township, 3/4 is in Maine Township. But because they're in the same zip code, all those people who live in Maine Township are able to participate in our program as well. Frankly, we got started sooner than we thought because we knew we needed to raise. Dolly wants you to have 2 years' money in the bank before you start the program. So you don't start it and then stop it. And for us, that was about $32,000. And we had a few initial small donors and then had the great good fortune of getting a very generous $30,000 donation from the Madge Goldman Foundation, which is a private family foundation that just this year moved its headquarters to Skokie. And so given that, we were able to actually jumpstart the program faster than we even expected. I would like to take this moment to also, in addition to the Madge Goldman Foundation, the Education Foundation supporting the students of Niles Township, and Niles Township government, our initial financial sponsors, as well as First Bank Chicago and North Shore Community Bank, which is a branch of Wintrust. We have East Prairie Elementary School, 73 that came in, and we're going to roll this out now that we've just started the program to the school districts to see if we can get support. And finally, a very generous, the first really generous private donation we got from a family, which is Jeff and Amy Cardella in Niles. So I hate to put it down to money, but the fact is when you look at $78 and how far it can go to send a kid free books for 5 years, I mean, it's pretty amazing. And personally, I will say, besides the fact that I think this is a great testament to how so many areas that are divvied up and carved up, like Niles Township with all of our township, many units of local government and 10 elementary districts sending their kids to one high school district, et cetera, et cetera. This is a true example of all these agencies putting aside whatever differences they have, whatever jurisdictional tussles, and saying, this is something that's going to directly benefit our kids. And I'm going to end just on a note that I think is really kind of touching, which is I have gotten a number of notes from mothers, fathers, grandmas who say, I would like to, as for an example, I would like to sign my 3-year-old up for the program, but I don't want to do that if that means that some child more in financial need won't get a book. And I'm very happy to send a note back saying Dolly wants all the kids to have books. That's the whole goal. So we are thrilled to death, Mayor Tennis, for the support of the village, for the support of all 4 of our libraries. All 4 of our township mayors have been very supportive. And what's not to like? If you know anyone between someone who was just born today and someone who will be 5, not tomorrow, but next month, go to imaginationlibrarynt.org and you can register your child. Thank you.
Thank you so much. This is a wonderful program. I really appreciate this information and what I think it highlights. As you said, Jim, we are stronger and better together, always. So thank you. Thank you again to everyone involved. The next item on the agenda is a presentation from our fabulous, hardworking, and hopefully they've had a chance to catch their collective breath, Skokie's 4th of July Parade Committee. So the presentation will be given, if there is, by Lisa Hanley and Nia Tavalaris. You want to go to the microphone and wing it for a minute or two?
We'll wing it.
I'd like to, while the committee is assembling, because I see a lot of, Rich and Diana, don't be shy. See you back there. I'd like to encourage everyone who worked. Rondell is one of our new committee members. She's stepping up. So thank you to everyone who was involved in the parade this year. It was an extraordinary effort and a really fun day in Skokie. I'm so grateful to Lisa and Nia for taking the helm this year. Please.
Thank you. We just wanted to say thank you to the village board for this wonderful recognition, serving as first-time co-chairs of the Skokie 4th of July Parade has been an incredible honor. We are fortunate to work alongside an outstanding parade committee whose dedication, passion, and countless volunteer hours made this year's parade a success. We are especially proud that for the first time in parade history, the Skokie community had the opportunity to nominate our military and community grand marshals, making this celebration even more meaningful. Thank you to everyone who participated, volunteered, and supported this cherished Skokie tradition. And I'm just going to take one more minute on behalf of the parade committee and our entire community. We extend our heartfelt gratitude to Arnie, to Arnie Oskin. Arnie, your commitment of building and maintaining our military connections has been invaluable and has helped make our parade a meaningful tribute to those who have served in our country. Your passion, leadership, and countless hours of volunteerism have left a lasting impact on our community. While you will be deeply missed, your legacy will continue to inspire us, and we are all better because of your dedication. Thank you for everything you and Faye have given to our parade and to our community. And as the mayor said to me, you both are community treasures. So thank you.
Yes, indeed.
Could we ask you to come down to take one photo?
Pardon me?
Could we ask you to come down?
Sure,
to take one
yes.
photo?
Committee members, so co-chairs, Lisa Hanley, Nia Tavalaris, raise your hands, Arnie Oskin, Naima Abraham, forgive me, I'm forgetting your name.
Michelle Malari.
Michelle Millar, Rondell Merrill, Bob Quain, Richard Ivanitz, and Diana Ivanitz.
Probably going to need to yeah. Okay. Get Arnie in there. Yeah, we're good.
Right, you can't see the camera, I can't see you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Lots of good things happening in our community tonight. The next item on the agenda is the is the swearing in of our firefighter, one of our firefighters as a lieutenant. and 2 new hires as firefighters. I will call on Bruce Rotner from the Board of Fire and Police Commissioners to swear them in. Mr. Rotner.
You know, it's really a tough act to follow, Mayor. I mean, Anne Rainey was legendary in Chicago, where I worked, in Dollywood. You know, it's kind of like my garage band in the 60s following Jimi Hendrix up on stage. Or something. Okay, good evening. I'd like to take a moment to thank Mayor Tennis and our village board members for allowing me the honor of representing the Skokie Board of Fire and Police Commission and our chairman, Will Evans. I'd also like to thank the families and the friends of our new firefighters who are here tonight. They're joining the men and women of a nationally recognized, accredited fire department under the strong and outstanding leadership of Chief Nicholas Eschner. To our new lieutenant, your promotion reflects your hard work, leadership, and the confidence this department has in you. Your example will help shape the firefighters you lead and the future of this department. To our 2 newest firefighters, today marks the beginning of a career of service to others. The oath you are about to take is more than a tradition. It is a promise to serve this community with courage, integrity, and compassion. On behalf of our community, thank you for accepting that responsibility. We are proud to have you serve our residents, and we wish you all a long, safe, and successful career. So let me just end my brief comments before I get hooked off of here. And I always like to end with a short quote, and this is from a quote from Edward Crocker. Anybody know who Edward Crocker was? I would give 2 pension checks. Edward Crocker was a New York fire commissioner from 1899 to 1910. But the words he said are still true today. When a person becomes a firefighter, their greatest act of bravery has been accomplished. What they do after that is just all in the line of work. And with that, I will call upon Jacob Gazer to come forward and be sworn in. Okay, Jacob. Okay, Jacob, would you raise your right hand, turn toward me, or turn towards the board? I state your name.
I, Jacob Gazier,
Do solemnly swear that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States of America,
do solemnly swear to uphold the Constitution of the United States of America,
of the state of Illinois,
the state of Illinois,
the ordinances of the village of Skokie,
the ordinances of the village of Skokie,
and the rules and regulations of the fire department,
and the rules and regulations of the fire department,
and the Skokie Board of Fire and Police Commissioner,
and the Skokie Board of the Fire and Police Commissioners,
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of a fire lieutenant
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of a fire lieutenant
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Lieutenant. Don't go far. Is there anyone whom you would like to recognize in the audience? And if so, if you could get to the microphone. Thank you, Mr. Rodner.
No problem.
With me here is my daughter Grace, as well as my wife who's expecting our second child in September, Kathleen, my mother-in-law Jean, my parents Paul and Lisa. They've been instrumental in everything that I've done in my life, and that's why I'm up here today. So thank you.
Thank you all. Congratulations.
Okay, next we have, I'll say his first name, Kasner, because I'll screw up his last name, so.
Bonchinsky. Did I get it? Punchinsky.
That's why you're mayor. see. Okay, Kesmer, you're going to read this. Follow along with me. You got them when you're done. You're going to sign this here and give this to Chief.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Kesmer, please raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Casimir Plonzinski,
Do solemnly swear that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States of America,
do solemnly swear that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States of America,
the state of Illinois,
the state of Illinois,
the ordinances of the village of Skokie,
the ordinances of the village of Skokie,
and the rules and regulations of the fire department,
and the rules and regulations of the fire department,
and the Skokie Board of Fire and Police Commissioners,
and the Skokie Board of Fire and Police Commissioners,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of a firefighter
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of a firefighter
to the best of my
to
ability.
the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Peter Punchinsky, is there anyone you would like to introduce?
Yes, tonight I brought my loving mother and stepdad, my two brothers, my nephew, my nieces, my uncle and aunts, and grandmother.
And last but certainly not least, we have firefighter Patrick Fahey. Patrick? Okay, Patrick. Can read that. Patrick, we will sign this. Okay, Patrick, please raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Patrick Fahey,
Do solemnly swear that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States of America,
do solemnly swear that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States of America,
the state of Illinois,
the state of Illinois,
the ordinances of the village of
the
Skokie,
ordinances of the village of Skokie,
and the rules and regulations of the fire department,
and the rules and regulations of the fire department,
and the Skokie Board of Fire and Police Commissioners,
and the Skokie Board of Fire and Police Commissioners,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of a firefighter
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of a firefighter
to the best of my
to
ability.
the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Give that to the chief. Keep that.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Firefighter Fahey, is there anyone you would like to introduce?
Yes, my list is a little bit shorter than the others. My wife Kara is here. I have two sons at home, Liam and Connor. A little bit past their bedtime, so they couldn't make it, but happy again to have my wife Kara here to support me.
Wonderful, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Rotner. I'd like to congratulate our new lieutenant and our two new firefighters. You are joining one of the premier fire agencies. I'm biased, but not only in Illinois, but the entire country. We are grateful for your service. We are grateful for your family's care and support for you as you do this important work for our community. So thank you and welcome aboard. We will now take a 6-minute recess so that we can congratulate our new lieutenant and our new firefighters. We will reconvene at 8:20. And I will ask Officer, if you'd be kind enough to shut the door. The next item on the agenda is the first of our 2 public comment periods. The second one will occur at the end of the meeting. We'll set aside up to 30 minutes right now. If an individual speaks during the first public comment period, they may not speak again during the later public comment period. Please understand that the public comment period is an opportunity for members of the public to address the village board on a topic that is within the village's purview and jurisdiction, but is not listed in another location on the agenda. If you would like to speak about a matter that is listed on the agenda that is an action item on which the board is expected to take action tonight, we will ask that you wait until that agenda item is called, and there will be an opportunity for you to speak then. Please be aware that the public comment period is intended to provide an opportunity for public input and is not a forum for dialogue with members of the village board. Rather, it is intended as an opportunity to make comments and share your thoughts with us. Please be sure to direct your comments only to the village board and do not expect a response from anyone tonight. If needed, our village manager, we will get your name and information, and our village manager or a member of our staff will respond. All speakers will be limited to a precise 3 minutes. When you come to the podium, we ask that you please state your name clearly and let us know as a courtesy whether or not you are a resident of Skokie. You are not required to give your address. Is there anyone who would like to address the village board at this time? Mr. Rauschenberger.
Good evening, Mayor Tennis, trustees. My name is Dean Rauschberg. I'm a Skokie citizen. I'd like to take this opportunity to raise a discussion about Skokie considering developing a effective and sensible public policy on plastic bags. Plastic bags have a negative impact on the environment as well as public health. Various communities in Illinois and around the country have developed such policies. And while Skokie and a public policy could be an outright ban, another approach is imposing a fee, which would encourage the use of recyclable bags or containers and to disincentivize single-use, non-recyclable bags. The city of Chicago, since it started its public policy, has generated revenue over $122 million. In 2025, City of Chicago generated revenue $24 million. This current year, the City of Chicago is expected to generate $38 million. In generating these kinds of funds, this would reduce the pressure on Skokie's tax base, increase additional revenues. The funds can go into the general operating fund, or they can go to any dedicated, whatever it may be, fire department, the environment, whatever kind of, no shortage of uses that could be dedicated. Other communities that do it is Woodstock, Batavia, Elgin, Evanston, Oak Park. Highland Park is now currently considering such a policy. I think this is something that Skokie views itself and is a leader for environmental stewardship as well as public health. So I think we can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. One, encourage the use of recyclable containers. Exemptions could be provided. Bakeries, bulk materials, pharmaceutical drugstores, other communities have such policies. Government-assisted programs, you could develop certain loopholes and exceptions. But I think it's the smart, wise approach, recyclable, reusable containers. Others are doing it. We could be a leader. We also can reduce the pressure on our tax base at the same time. So I suggest that possibly staff be assigned the project to look at how other communities are experiencing it, the trade-offs, the ups and the downs. It'll take some awareness, but I think it's a positive, sensible approach to consider. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to address the village board at this time? Okay, we will close this public comment period. The next item is the report of our village manager, John Lockerbie.
Thank you, Mayor and trustees, and good evening, everyone. Item A is regarding a storefront enhancement grant for 7924 Lincoln Avenue, the Skokie Theater. A new theater ownership group of the Skokie Theater has requested assistance under the village's storefront enhancement program to remodel and restore both the interior and exterior of the building to create a dynamic, modern, and inviting performing arts space. The restoration is being led by 2 locally based families with deep ties to the performing arts. The grant program encourages enhancing the commercial corridors in town. The reimbursement grant is a 60-40 cost share, with the applicant paying 60%. The exterior work includes masonry repair, tuck pointing, stonework restoration, including roof repairs. Additionally, the owners will be restoring the ticket window and improving the marquee while maintaining its historical character. Interior improvements include remodeling and refreshing the lobby, improved seating and circulation, and addition of a bar and concession area. HVAC repairs are included in the scope, as well as upgrades to finishes and fixtures in the second floor residential unit. In addition to the purchase price of the building, $875,000, the estimated cost for the Phase 1 improvements is approaching $300,000. The total village grant recommended is a maximum $50,000 to assist with the first phase of improvements. Board approval for a grant not to exceed $50,000 is respectfully requested for interior and exterior restoration of the Skokie Theater located at 7924 Lincoln Avenue.
Before I call for a motion, are there any questions? I'd like to start out by recognizing the new owners, Chris, and forgive me, I'm forgetting your wife's name. Monica. Thank you for your investment in our community, your branding, you have just absolutely hit the ground running with engaging our community. And I've been keeping my eye on your social media. There is such enthusiasm and excitement, and so, so grateful. We appreciated the good foundation that Wendy Kaplan and Wayne Mel with Madcap Productions laid at the Skokie Theater, and really gave us a really nice foundation for the last decade. But your new vision and dedication is so exciting, and we're grateful. Any questions? Yes, Trustee Kamani Levy.
This is the right form for this question, but will the theater be closed while these renovations are?
My understanding is the theater is closed. If you'd kindly approach the podium, but it's my understanding, let's see if my eye on the social media is correct. They're closed now, but they'll be due to reopen in September. Is that correct?
That is correct. We are hoping to be open in late September.
And then the next phase will start after that, or when will the next phase of renovations begin?
This phase will continue in August and September, but likely carry to early next year.
Okay.
So you'll be open you'll do what you need to do, then open, and then continue incrementally while you're still open?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Yes, Trustee Iverson and then Trustee Robinson.
Yeah, I'll be quick, because I don't have a question. I just wanted to point out that I've not paid attention to what you've done on social media, but I and all my neighbors have met the team multiple times, because they've been in the community, they've been visiting everybody, connecting with everybody, absolutely in the spirit of Skokie.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Trustee Robinson.
I was just going to see, was there a motion on the floor?
No,
first?
not yet. We're talking.
Oh, okay, because I know we were having discussion. I didn't know if it's the cart before the horse.
Sometimes we do it, we can do it different ways. So this is what we're having our discussion first. Any other questions? Any questions from the audience? Okay, if not, I would call for a motion to approve and adopt the recommended storefront enhancement grant for 7924 Lincoln Avenue. Trustee Robinson, right there. Trustee Kamani Levy is our second. Last call for questions? If not, will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Kamani Levy? Aye. Trustee Robinson?
Aye.
Trustee Iverson?
Congratulations.
Aye.
Trustee Lissa Levy?
Aye.
Trustee Pierce-Lovan?
Aye.
Trustee Schechter?
Aye.
And the motion passes. Congratulations. We look forward to everything, all the wonderful things you're going to add to our downtown. Thank you for your investment.
Thank you so much. We have been blown away by the support of the community so far, and we're so excited and thrilled to be working with you all. We just cannot wait.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Monica.
Thank you.
Item B is regarding a recommendation to adopt a business registration program. Currently, businesses are registered with the village using a certificate of occupancy, commonly known as a CO, inspection. Staff recommends that the village adopt a business registration process and reserve the use of certificates of occupancy exclusively for new construction for spaces where there has been no previous occupancy. Staff recommends the following code changes. 1, remove the terminology from the village's code, certificate of compliance, and replace it with the industry standard of certificate of occupancy. 2, remove the terminology certificate of occupancy as it relates to business registration and replace it with the term business registration. And 3, throughout the village code, remove references to certificate of completion or certificate of compliance and replace with certificate of occupancy. I request the village board authorize the corporation council to prepare an ordinance establishing a business registration process.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to go off script and ask for the motion first. Is there a motion to authorize the corporation council to draft the ordinance to adopt a business registration program?
So moved.
Trustee Robinson, seconded by Trustee Iverson. Any questions or comments? Trustee Schechter.
Yeah, I'm just curious, Mr. Lockerbie, about what prompted this. I mean, did we have real-time concerns from existing businesses about the terminology? I just was wondering, what prompted this and what's the problem that we're now solving?
Sure. Johanna Neiden, the Community Development Director, is approaching the podium and will respond, but I will provide my perspective as well. There's been an emphasis on being business-friendly and making our processes easier, and it's easier to recognize what we're proposing as opposed to various versions of a certificate of. And so with that, I will turn it over to
Sure.
Johanna.
So the first thing is to try to be more just plain speak, but certificate of occupancy doesn't scream, I've just opened my business. And it's confusing for people to understand, I can go in the building, it was just a store 2 months ago, like, it's jargony, it's confusing. So this helps streamline it, it makes it, when we talk about language access, this is a much more translatable experience than occupancy. Occupancy means lots of different things in different languages. And also, just from a time management standpoint, we find ourselves, and we really unearthed this in the matrix process, we spend a lot of time inspecting properties that are doing okay. They don't need our attention, but we're checking a box because our code says you have to go and do this certificate of occupancy inspection, and we go and we visit, yep, looks good, it's okay. And it's 5 or 6 staff members going through the full fields when they could be doing other work plan review, other inspections. And so this is, when you just look at the spectrum of how staff spends their time, this is not the best use of staff time.
Any other questions? Yes, Trustee Kamani Levy.
Is this an annual registration process?
It would
or-
be,
okay.
yes.
And have we already determined what the fee would be, or is that, okay?
We have existing fees, right? And isn't there a report coming to the board soon that is taking a look at fees?
Yes.
Okay, so we already have fees in place. This is just really a change of terminology.
Yes.
Okay. I support this. I have always thought that the term certificate of occupancy was really confusing and just did not seem on point for business registration. So I applaud this. And I also applaud the fact that, this recommendation, as I understand the memo from our manager, is coming straight from the matrix report. So, yes, thank you. Any other questions from the board? Trustee Iverson.
Just quickly, I also support this. I think it makes a ton of sense, and I look forward to a lot more similar actions taking place out of the matrix report. Thanks. Thank you, Director.
Thank you.
Thank you, Director Neiden. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to address the village board about this matter? Okay, if not, we have a motion and a second on the floor. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Kamani Levy?
Aye.
Trustee Robinson?
Aye.
Trustee Iverson?
Aye.
Trustee Lissa Levy?
Aye.
Trustee Pierce-Lovan?
Aye.
Trustee Schechter?
Aye. Thank you. The motion passes, and the ordinance will be back at a later date for second reading and adoption.
Item C is regarding the Economic Vitality Strategy Update, Consulting Services by TPMA, based out of Indianapolis, Indiana, for a price not to exceed $90,000. Following the successful adoption of the village's first strategic plan, the village now seeks to contract with a consultant to further this work and its implementation through the development of an updated economic vitality strategy. The approach will include data collection, analysis, and recommendations for all businesses and economic sectors, and will do so across Skoki's corridors and business nodes. The scope also includes stakeholder and community engagement that will provide a variety of opportunities for input and validation. The village released a request for qualifications, often referred to as an RFQ, seeking a qualified consulting firm to develop a comprehensive vitality strategy that will guide the community's economic growth and development over the next 5 to 10 years. I concur with staff's recommendation and respectfully request board approval of TPMA to provide professional services to update the village's economic strategy and authorization for me, the village manager, to enter into a contract for said services up to a not-to-exceed amount of $90,000. I should note that this initiative is anticipated to take 6 to 9 months to complete.
Thank you. So we're going to hold off on the motion for a moment. Are there any questions or discussion from the board? Trustee Schechter.
Yeah, first, I'm really pleased we're doing this. I know it was in the strategic plan. I know we said we were going to do it in our budget and goals, so this is great. I just had some questions about what's included, and especially having had a chance to look at the RFQ. So really, it all boils down to a couple of things. One is including the voices and information about the workforce. I mean, even though I'm seeing here there'll be an employment and labor force analysis, under community engagement, we don't have anything about talking to municipal employees, public employees, small businesses, you know.
Well, there is a section in there about different focus groups. So I don't know that there's an assumption that those
Well,
won't be.
there's nothing here at all that relates to the workforce. So I think that, I just want to make sure that we specifically call that out. And then the other piece is to make sure, well, I guess there's 3 things under for small businesses, that we're also making sure that nothing that we do in looking at best practices is going to contribute to any kind of displacement of, you know, for example, a lot of sort of small businesses, as we ratchet up, they might find themselves pushed out. And I brought this book, there's a really good book called The Right to Suburbia about exactly this kind of phenomenon that's happened in suburbs similar to Skokie in the DC area. So just being mindful. And then the third thing is making sure that we incorporate you know, the green businesses and the sustainability plan, and that the consultant is taking a look at that as part of our economic vitality strategy. And also back to the workforce, the whole issue of, you know, housing. I mean, being able to live close to work is an economic development strategy. So I just wanted to make sure, I don't know who to turn to. I look to our mayor for answering those questions.
And I'll defer to Mr. Tonelli, Rodney Tonelli, our economic vitality manager, in a moment. But my vision for this plan, started a year ago with the strategic plan. And I made it, you know, clear that once the strategic plan was in place, the next chapter was going to be a community-wide comprehensive economic vitality strategy. The last time I remember an exercise like this using an outside consultant, and John, jump in if I'm wrong, was in 2009 during the recession. Then village manager Al Rigoni and that village board had the foresight to bring in a professional, even during those dark days of the recession, to take a look at this plan was focused very specifically on downtown Skokie. At the time, there was a TIF in downtown Skokie that was just a few years from expiring. So the focus of that was market analysis and how to best expend those TIF dollars. The results of that is seen in a lot of the streetscape that remains in downtown Skokie. And we started to get some really good traction, and then the pandemic hit. So in my mind, to your point, Trustee Schechter, about, and I'm glad you expressed the concern about small business, because it's important for me to be clear that my reasoning for wanting this study was to find ways to bolster, not only to build our workforce in the community as a whole, but to bolster and support small business. How can we make it easier for small business? How can we better support small business, not just in downtown Skokie, but in the small retail and industrial retail pockets and industrial areas throughout Skokie that are therefore waiting for renewal, and this plan will help get us on track for that. Mr. Tonelli, what do you have to add?
I can just maybe briefly respond to Trustee Schechter's question. So heard of all the items you listed and wanted to make sure that are being addressed. Be assured they are. They're part of the scope of work that they'll work on, and the work plan will address all those items.
Okay, good, yeah, because just again, analysis of the creative workforce is pulled out, which is great, the, artist community, but I think the larger workforce as well, just wanting to make sure, including polling our own employees.
And when you say your own employees, municipal or community?
Municipal, our own employees, yeah.
No, I just want to be clear.
Municipal employees
Great.
of the village of Skokie, of the school districts, the extent to which they want to live near work and how that affects them. If we're going to do that kind, focus groups that relate to that, because we all know that employee retention has a direct connection to a healthy, healthy economy.
And business retention is vital to a community, so that's what this is about. Any other questions from the board? Okay, is there anyone in the community who would like to, in the audience? Mr. Rauschberger, please come to the podium.
So I reviewed...
Please come, if you'd kindly wait till you're at the microphone so we can pick you up on our table.
Dean Rauschberger. So Mayor Tennis, you know best when the last report was done. Was an outside consultant used on the last report?
Yes. Oh, well...
It's about a 30-page report.
There was an in-house study done. The one I'm referencing in 2009 was done by an outside firm that I think is no longer in business. It was called 4 Insights out of Lisle, Illinois.
No.
This was done in-house, right, Rodney? The current one? Mr. Tonelli?
So the last two were done in-house.
Done in-house.
Yes.
One was done in about 2018.
There was a 2025 document that was prepared, and then there was a 2015 through 2017 plan that was prepared.
Right, yes. The former economic development manager, Len Becker, I think, led the one in 2015.
Yes, with the Economic Development Commission.
Right, yes, with the then newish Economic Development Commission, yes.
The only comment I wanted to make is that I reviewed one of the prior reports, and I thought it was pretty impressive, and it was comprehensive. It covered tourism to hospital infrastructure and across the board. And I was just going to raise, if an outside consultant was used for that, did they consider also considering participating in this study to take advantage of their institutional historical knowledge, so you're not reinventing the wheel? I don't know. The
Well, sure, they will review those plans if that's what you're asking.
If an outside consultant was used for the prior report that I reviewed, it was about 30 pages. Were they considered to be, an outside consultant to be used on this current investment, given their historical knowledge? That's all. Just an observation. I thought the last report was well done, and certainly it's a worthwhile thing, so I support it.
So the thought process is to build on what we've done in the past and to utilize an outside expert firm to come in and assess our situation and provide their expertise. The prior plan that you're referring to was done through a collaborative approach. Several of the village's directors, the management team, had small groups with the Economic Development Commission members, and they met and talked about specific sectors and specific issues within economic development, and that's how that plan was developed. So there was not an outside consultant that was engaged. It was in-house expertise collaboratively working with the Economic Development Commission members. And so this is a different approach, but will build on all of the past practices.
Right, so just to be clear, the last time we used an outside consultant was 2009 with 4 Insights.
I will rely on
Correct.
your memory for that,
Yeah,
so.
okay. One other point I'd like to raise is, I know when I read through the RFP, there's a lot of language about tourism. Skokie is very fortunate to have been a founding member of the Chicago's North Shore Convention and Visitors Bureau. Started as 3 communities in 2002, Skokie, Evanston, and Wilmette. The Bureau, I believe, now serves 11 or 12 communities and has a better than $3 million budget, annual budget, half of which comes from the state. So the consultants will be working closely with the CVB staff, again, to take advantage of their knowledge of and we've worked closely with them for the last 2+ decades, so that's an advantage that we have. Any other questions? Okay, is there a motion to approve? Trustee Gail Schechter, is there a second? Trustee Keith Robinson, thank you. Last call for questions? Okay, will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Kamani Levy? Aye. Trustee Robinson?
Aye.
Trustee Iverson?
Aye.
Trustee Lissa Levy?
Aye.
Trustee Pierce-Lovan?
Aye.
Trustee Schechter?
Aye.
And the motion passes. One postscript to this. Mr. Lockerbie, I know you said that the process was going to take 6 to 9 months. What I would hope is that there's enough time for the board and staff to consider the report in time for any implications to what will be our FY28 budget that we will be considering next spring.
Understood.
Thank you.
Item D is regarding the Main Street Streetscape Improvement Project by Copenhaver Construction based out of Union, Illinois, for a price of $1.832 million. The Main Street Commercial Corridor is an important east-west thoroughfare in the village, and the businesses there have historically been neighborhood serving with a few destination retailers. As a result of a study conducted by MKSK Incorporated, the village developed an action plan for improvements and engaged MKSK to prepare schematic designs and construction documents for the Main Street Commercial Corridor between Crawford and Kildare Avenues. The improvements include new hardscape materials, space for gateway, art elements, new planters and landscaping, site furnishings, lighting, styling, pedestrian ways, curb extensions, and crosswalks. The contractor will regrade the sites, repair drainage infrastructure, install irrigation, and coordinate installation of new light poles with the village's electrical contractor. I concur with staff's recommendation and respectfully request board approval and acceptance of the bid submitted by Copenhaver Construction for the Main Street Streetscape Improvement Project in the amount of $1,832,300 and authorization for the village manager to enter into a contract for said project.
Is there a motion to approve? Trustee Robinson, thank you. Second?
Please let me second. Please
Thank
let me
you,
second.
trustee Lissa Levy, you've got it. You've got the second. I am going to start out the questions, if that's okay. Mr. Lockerbie, can you, this $1.832 million, those funds, are they from the CIP? Where, I know there's no TIF there, obviously. There's no special business district or SSA, so is it coming from, where are the revenues coming from? And specifically, I'm wondering, are there any funds remaining? I know the village received a $600,000 grant from State Representative Jennifer Gong Gershowitz a few years back, and I know that was used for the storefront, right, and to conduct a study. But are there any funds left over that are going to be part of this mix?
Yes, so Rodney Tonelli, the Economic Development Manager, has been monitoring and managing the funds very closely. And so, Rodney, if you could talk about the funding for the project and then the status of the grant from the state.
You recall correctly, Mayor, so we had received a grant from DCEO Department from the state of Illinois for $600,000, and at that time, the village board then had also provided $400,000 towards the project. Of the grant funds, we've used that to purchase 4051 Main Street, where the storefront operates out of, and we've used the grant to pay the design consultant fees of MKSK for both the commercial corridor study that resulted in the implementation drawings for this streetscape project. So, a little more than half of the original $600,000 remains, plus the encumbered money that the village board had placed. The additional funding's coming out of this year's CIP budget.
Great. CIP is Capital Improvement Project budget, to not talk in acronyms. Any comments, questions? Trustee Lissa Levy, I'm going to throw it to you first, if you have any comments or questions.
Well, I don't have so many questions, just the comment that I wish I were there so you could see how moved and teary-eyed I am that Main Street is getting this attention. I'm so very grateful to the previous board. I'm so very grateful to staff. I'm so very grateful to the community for moving this along, and looking forward to Main Street's success and the continued revitalization of other areas of Skokie that have seen disinvestment over the years. So, I'll be very excited to vote yes in just a few moments.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Trustee Robinson.
Yeah, I'm just going to also give a shout out to our old colleagues who had the vision to start this and get things going, and also this board who is watching the fruits bear. So
We took the baton.
So this is good. This is exciting. This is good. I can't wait to see the groundbreaking.
Yeah. Any other comments? Trustee Schechter and then Trustee Kamani Levy.
Yeah, this is just a comment, but I hope, of course, I'm very supportive of this, and I'm just hoping that when we do this economic vitality strategy plan, that, taking a look at infrastructure, the effect of infrastructure, like what we're about to do and how that's going to impact, or how that does impact economic health would be, extremely useful, because I just want to mention to those who haven't seen this, the economic vitality plan will cover Old Orchard Road / Woods Drive, downtown Skokie, Dempster, Oakton, and Toohey. So we're really looking at the whole village.
It's
So
comprehensive.
Main Street's the line leader.
Right. I'm going to jump in for just a second before we go to Trustee Kamani Levy. I have to mention, whenever we talk about Main Street, I mean, certainly a nod to our colleague, Trustee Lissa Levy, and I think Go Green Skokie was even involved in the very beginning for encouraging the village to take a look at this small section of Main Street as a demonstration project. And here we are 4 or 5 years later. But I also have to mention the investment of the Neiman family that owns Zelda's Catering. They have invested millions of dollars in their operations on Main Street on both the south side, which is their catering operation, the largest kosher caterer in the Midwest, one of the largest. I like to say the largest, but it's probably one of the largest. And then on the south side, on the north side now, the wonderful Zelda's Table and Gelati Biscotti, which is a nonprofit and provides funding, volunteers staff it and dish up the gelato, and all of the proceeds go to charities in the community. So, but for that investment. But yes, we need that same mindset applied to all these other areas, and that's what the economic vitality strategy will do. Trustee Kamani Levy.
I'm excited for this as well. I can imagine your delight on your face, Trustee Levy. I'm assuming, is it safe to assume that we're going to phase the construction plan in such a way that it minimizes impact to the current businesses there? Okay.
Yes.
Thank you for raising that. Actually, Mr. Lockerbie and I met last week with the ownership of Zelda's, and we talked about the construction, and they expressed concern. And whenever there's a construction project like this, historically, we will assign an engineer to work. We did that when downtown Skokie, when all the streetscape was going on in 2013-14, but we'll do that again. And certainly there will be, I had asked our village manager to have staff prepare a very special targeted marketing plan for making sure that the community, and the community will be making repeated calls, and I'll start that now by encouraging the community to continue to patronize all those businesses on Main Street during the construction. They're stepping up, we have to step up. There's a collective responsibility that we all share. Anything else? Trustee Iverson.
Just very quickly, Trustee, I also, my mind immediately went to, the TPMA. And it's very convenient that those bullets were one after the other, because it's a massive investment, not only by the businesses on Main Street, but by the people of Skokie. And knowing that this is being done wisely and effectively, and looking at tools of the past as well as these tools that you're using now is super important. That is a very important work that TPMA is doing. Thank you.
Trustee Schechter.
I just want to clarify, as I'm looking on this here, the new improvements include, the hardscape materials, space for gateway planters, site furnishings, lighting, pedestrian ways, curb extensions, and crosswalks. And I feel it's incumbent upon me to make sure to ask that there will be adequate bicycle parking.
Yes.
We have the bike path and the area
There's
track
bike
lines.
racks included as part of
Okay.
the furnishings too.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Mayor?
Yes, Trustee Pure-Slovan.
Thank you. People have said it, and I thank my colleagues for it, but I just really want to reiterate, this is really good governance. This started with the government, governance of one board, and now is being executed by a second. And going forward in Skokie, I think this is how we should always work together in enhancing Skokie and looking for other projects. And it doesn't make a difference under whose leadership it started. The important thing is that everybody who is elected is here for the good of the residents and the citizens, and it just shows how seamlessly this all came together, and I thank you for that.
Thank you. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to address the board about this matter? Mr. Marley? Of course.
Good evening, Skokie Board. Thank you for presenting this information. My name is Ken Marley. I'm a 16-year resident of Skokie. I live near Skokie in Maine, walking distance to this portion of the Main Street corridor. And I hadn't even heard of this proposed work before the agenda for tonight's meeting was announced. And so I apologize if I sound like a child walking into the middle of a movie and just asking a bunch of questions. I'd like to think that I'm generally well-informed, so I'm hoping that these are things to think about that John Q. Public might also be thinking about, once the work starts to get done. again, child walking into a movie. It looks to me $1.5 million of work on a block and a half of what I would consider to be about a 5-block area of that Main Street corridor that looks like it needs work. I was able to find drawings, but I wasn't able to find the MSKS study that had been cited in the meeting minutes. So it's not exactly clear to me how the justification for which portion of Main Street to be addressed at this time, and whether or not future portions of Main Street would be addressed, and in what manner we think that we might go about doing that. So I guess my primary concern is, how do we convey to the public that this is an effective and equitable way to approach this Main Street development, which, by the way, totally love that we are giving some love to Main Street. Totally love it. Thank you all for your consideration. But again, it's just unclear how we got to this point. I was unaware of any public outreach as far as, taking, surveys or even notifying the public of what's being intended, what's being considered. It's personally unclear to me what the anticipated outcome of this work is. And again, I'm glad that there's work. I'm not saying this in a judgmental way. I'm just asking questions out loud. Is there an anticipated financial return from this work that we're performing? This one is a personal, might actually sound kind of judgmental. Looking at the plans, it appears that a portion of the work that we're performing is being done on private property, and I don't know what the precedent is for us spending public money on private land, and whether that's truly the case, and how we have landed on that decision. And again, circling back to the whole, what is effective and equitable for all 5 blocks, not just that block and a half. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Marley. I believe the village manager is going to respond.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that there's a Skokie Main Street Commercial Corridor Study page on the village's website that includes the study that was completed prior to the implementation plan, that this is a component of the implementation plan. So there is a focus on this section of Main Street from Crawford, into approximately Tripp. There's other components of Main Street, for example, near Now Center Road to Skokie Boulevard that has been successful in redevelopment. There's a number of very, very successful businesses in that corridor. Sketchbook has had a real impact on becoming a community gathering spot. The Collision business across the street just completed a significant exterior renovation, so there's some real momentum. Flawless Homes had done an addition, adding residential above their commercial corridor. So that section of Main Street has really received some investment and some revitalization. This section of Main Street that we're speaking of tonight was part of a corridor study. There's a specific implementation strategy that came out of that, but this has some unique architecture in that there is, from the curb line to the buildings, there is a parkway, well, let me start with the street. There's a bike lane. So the village started with the infrastructure years ago, resurfaced Main Street, added the bike lane, added the green space between the curb and the sidewalk, and then we have this commonly concrete or another hard surface between this public sidewalk and the businesses, and it has not become activated. And so one of the reasons that we selected this section of Main Street for the corridor study was to see how to address that going forward. And so the intent of focusing on the block just west of Keystone on Main Street, so 1 block west of Crawford, is that the village bought the storefront. So we bought a storefront that we named the storefront, and then turned it into a destination. Meredith from our communications staff, Giola, has been doing a phenomenal job in programming that space and inviting in different businesses to showcase. But eventually the plan seeks for the village to acquire property along that whole block and then for that block to redevelop or to become a destination for community gathering. And so the plan has many steps to it, but the village purchasing a storefront, enhancing that underutilized space between the sidewalk and the buildings is part of it. The way that the village is obtaining the right to do that is through agreements with each property owner. And so in addition to those agreements, the village is obtaining the right, if the property owner wants to purchase the property, wants to sell their property, then the village would have the right to purchase that property first. And so we are looking at the immediate need to add and build on the momentum. The main event that occurred earlier this summer was a way to signal to the community that there was going to be construction happening and that we needed to be in tune with the businesses that are located there and to be able to support them through the construction, but also making that section of town a destination, and it's proven to be so. Trustee Lissa Levy was instrumental in making those events happen on Main Street originally, and the neighborhood came out. Many, many people walked to that area and supported those events. And as we started the winter market in this area, that first winter market was not a warm day. It was, as I recall, there was even some snowflakes in the air. But there were hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Skokie people that came and attended that first market and has continued to attend the winter market in this section of Main Street. And so the village is so fortunate to have zoning throughout our community that has a variety of residential options, a variety of commercial options, a variety of industrial options. And so, but this Main Street section has some unusual architecture. And so we're looking for the next couple of decades on how do we energize that area.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to address the board? Not, will the clerk please call the roll? Oh.
I'd like to address the board, but not about this issue.
Okay, we'll have another public comment period at the end of the meeting. Okay, will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Kimani Levy? Aye. Trustee Robinson?
Aye.
Trustee Iverson?
Aye.
Trustee Lissa Levy?
Enthusiastic aye.
Trustee Pierce-Lovan?
Aye.
Trustee Schechter?
Aye. And the motion passes. All right, this is exciting. Thanks to everyone involved with this. Okay.
We look forward to the work and to supporting the businesses and to the finished product. So item E was approved under tonight's consent agenda, as well as F, G, H, I. J was removed, and so J is regarding the governmental representation and lobbying services with Rauchi and Sullivan Strategies, LLC, based out of Park Ridge, Illinois, for a monthly amount of $4,500 or annually $54,000. The Village of Skokie intends to engage a qualified lobbying firm to provide services related to advising the village on legislative issues, assisting with funding requests from the state of Illinois, facilitating interactions with state leaders and policymakers, and lobbying state agencies and officials on the village's behalf. From February of this year through June, the village conducted a pilot program with this firm in order to evaluate the services and the benefits that lobbying services can provide. We all found the services to be valuable as we interacted with this firm. They were successful in advising us of legislation. They were effective in working with state agencies on projects that had stalled for the village, and they were helpful in securing additional funding for the village. And so I concur with staff's recommendation and respectfully request board approval and acceptance of the proposal submitted by Rauchi and Sullivan Strategies, LLC, for lobbying services in the amount of $4,500 a month, and authorization for the village manager to enter into a contract for said services.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve? Trustee Robinson, thank you. Is there a second? Trustee Kimani Levy. Questions, discussion? Trustee Schechter.
Yeah, thank you. I pulled this off the consent agenda. For one, I know that it was in the budget that we adopted. So it's just to be clear that Skokie is a member of the Illinois Municipal League, which is a lobbying body, and since they're a membership organization, they may choose to do things that maybe we might disagree with, but we understand that that's what it is to be a part of a membership group. This is our own lobbying firm, and again, I understand having a lobbyist if there's a stall project like you mentioned, but I'm just concerned about the term legislative issues. So if there's something going on, if there's a state bill that maybe some of us might be for, some of us might be against, I mean, is there a way that if there's a legislative question that it come back to this board to direct the lobbyists? Because I would hate for it to happen that we have our lobbyists out there saying one thing, but there's no unanimity on our board or knowledge on the board. So that's my question.
On most policies, I think the board's perspective is known. If there are issues that there is known to be a difference of opinion, then absolutely there would be an attempt to seek consensus. Sometimes Springfield moves very fast and modifications are made to bills or legislation, and it's not practical for us to be able to poll and get to a consensus if it's a controversial issue, but we will absolutely work diligently to ensure that there's a consensus and that the village is communicating with a unified voice. But we would not engage the firm to advocate for a position that is not recognized as the Village of Skoki's position.
Yeah, thank you for that clarification. I just wanted to make sure that that was going to be the case. Thank you.
Trustee Iverson.
I share Trustee Schechter's concern, and I understand, the dynamics of what needs to be done. I think it would be important that when the village works with the firm in a lobbying effort or other such effort, that there be a transparency with the board as to the actions that were taken and the positions that were taken with regards to Skokie and downstate, please.
We also are a member of the Northwest Municipal Conference, and there are times when the positions of the Illinois Municipal League and the Northwest Municipal Conference don't align as well. I'm fortunate, I was fortunate to have been asked to chair the Northwest Municipal Conference's legislative committee this year, and I'm looking forward to that, and I think that's another important component of our voice in Springfield. So I'll be working closely on a regional level through the Northwest Municipal Conference. And as John said, or our village manager said, to the extent possible, we will engage with the board when there are issues that are going to be discussed in Springfield to see what we can do to present a united opinion for our community. That might not always be possible because, as our village manager said, at times, like the last 36 hours of the legislative session in May, where it was like they went around the clock. So we will do our best. And I have every confidence in Sullivan and Rauchi. They represented us with real excellence this spring. They met the challenge and were able, as Mr. Lockerbie said, they were able to move forward some projects. And yes. So, any other questions? Trustee Robinson.
Is it possible to maybe get briefs after, quarterly briefs, updates, just for the board and the community, so that we can see collectively how things are moving on our behalf?
Yes, we will make that happen.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, that's an easy request. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to address the village board about this matter? Okay, if not, last call for questions from the board. Sir. Is your comment about this matter?
Pardon?
Is it about this matter?
No, it's about.
We'll have an open, no, not quite yet. Thank you for your patience. We have a long agenda tonight. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Kamani Levy?
Aye.
Trustee Robinson?
Aye.
Trustee Iverson?
Aye.
Trustee Lissa Levy?
Aye.
Trustee Pierce-Lovan?
Aye.
Trustee Schechter?
Aye.
Items K, L, and M were approved as part of tonight's consent agenda. Item N will return to the next board meeting. And item O regarding the National Night Out was approved as part of tonight's consent agenda. That completes my report this evening.
Let's stay on that. Thank you, Mr. Lockerbie. Let's stay on that quickly. National Night Out is on Tuesday. I'm looking at you, Deputy Chief Franklin.
August.
Tuesday, August 4th. 4 to 7:30 p.m. at Oakton Park at 4901 4901 Oakton Street. 4701 Oakton Street. And it is always a very fun time for the community. So thank you. I know Deputy Chief Franklin was very involved with expanding our National Night Out effort, and we're grateful for your efforts. The next item on the agenda is the Corporation Counsel's report. Tonight, we welcome again Assistant Corporation Counsel, Mr. Stu Weiss.
Thank you, Mayor. Tonight, we have 5 ordinances that will be up for first reading. They will come back for final approval on August 17th. We have a resolution that will be up for full approval tonight, and then there's going to be a request for closed session. First item up is the appropriations ordinance for fiscal year 2027. This is the ordinance that will provide for and make appropriations for the Village of Skokie, the Skokie Public Library, the village's pension funds, and a number of other accounts and funds within the village. All of the appropriation items were accounted for in the budget that was previously approved by the village on May 18th of 2026. This is due to the fact that the village has adopted the budget officer system, so the appropriation ordinance actually follows the budget. You're basically just setting aside the money for everything you already decided to spend it on. There is a memo provided by the finance director that goes through the various aspects of this. If there are no questions, then a motion would be appropriate.
Is there a motion to approve? Trustee Robinson, I see you nodding your head. Is there a second? Trustee Gail Schechter, thank you. I'll start off the comments. I have a brief statement, colleagues, if you'll indulge me. The FY27 appropriations ordinance that was just described includes an important and long-needed equity adjustment to Village Manager John Lockerbie's compensation. In addition to being published in the meeting agenda last Thursday, as required by statute, the compensation adjustment also was posted on the village website early last week. This started with a review of compensation packages for village managers and administrators in the Northwest Suburban region that showed that Mr. Lockerbie's compensation was significantly below those of other chief operating officers, which is exactly what he is for this organization. He was below, his salary and compensation was below towns of both like and with significantly smaller populations. All but a few of these towns have less employees than Skokie, and many of these professionals who are compensated at higher levels had far shorter tenures than Mr. Lockerbie, who has served as Skokie's village manager since 2014, having first joined our organization as assistant village manager in 2004. This equity adjustment will raise Mr. Lockerbie's compensation to an appropriate level given his tenure and experience, given the size of our community in terms of population and employee census, and the depth of government services he oversees for our community, for the organization, and for the board. The village manager's compensation is reviewed annually according to specific metrics that are developed by this board. Even though this, again, was included in the ordinance, I thought it was very important to state this for the community, to be clear about what we're doing with Mr. Lockerbie's compensation. With that said, are there any other comments or questions about the appropriations ordinance Is there anyone in the audience who would like to address the village board about this matter? Okay, there being none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Kimani Levy? Aye. Trustee Robinson?
Aye.
Trustee Iverson?
Aye.
Trustee Lissa Levy?
Aye.
Trustee Pierce-Lovan?
Aye.
Trustee Schechter?
Aye. The motion passes. The ordinance will be back on the August 17th, 2026 board meeting for second reading and adoption.
Thank you, Mayor. The second item on the Corporation Council's report is an ordinance setting the water rates for fiscal year 2027. It is an amendment to Section 46-193 and will set water rates on a monthly basis and includes an increase that reflects an adjustment of $1.14 per 100 cubic feet, and this results for a minimum bill for most residents in an increase of $11.39. This increase is necessary to fund water, sewer, lead lines, equipment, and flood control expenditures during the coming year. And these adjustments were also assumed during the prior discussion of the budget. Finally, there's one more change in this ordinance, which includes an adjustment to the private side lead line replacement cost share for residents, which was also approved by the village board. And this brings the homeowner share up from $3,000 to $3,130, and I believe that's an inflation adjustment.
Thank you, Mr. Weiss. Is there any discussion by the board? Okay, my notes are not showing that we need a motion and a second on this, but I'm assuming we do?
Yes, so this would be for first reading.
Okay, so is there a motion to approve the ordinance as presented? Trustee Iverson, second. Trustee Schechter, thank you. Couple of things. I'd like to just note that even with this increase, Skokie's water rates remain low. I mean, not just competitive, but low among our peer, significantly low among our peer communities.
One of the lowest.
One of the lowest. And it's important to note that this increase, again, it's to fund, as this board has said, any increases have to be linked to specific projects and services. And this increase is linked to the need for, among other things, for infrastructure improvements. I'd also like to take the opportunity to just reiterate with the lead service line replacement. Again, this is a significant unfunded mandate that Skokie and all communities in Illinois are meeting. And we have 3 ways for residents to participate in this. One, they can, if they're along a construction route, they are eligible for lead service line replacement. Last year, at our request, the village manager and staff extended that program also for residents who are not along construction routes, that they can self-select and apply to have their lead service lines replaced. And then lastly, for some families who have decided to go ahead and do it themselves within a certain amount of time, I believe the look back was 18 months? 18 months, that we would provide them with a smaller measure, but with a measure of reimbursement. So I'm proud of the work that we've done. Again, this is a significant, an unfunded mandate of significant costs. Mr. Lockerbie, did you have anything else you wanted to say on that?
I would just add that in addition to the look back, any family that going forward that completes the work is eligible for that rebate as well.
Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you. Any other comments or questions from the board? Is there anyone in the audience who would like to address the board about this matter? Okay, go ahead, Trustee Schechter, I'm sorry.
I just wanted to add another important piece of information that's actually in the ordinance that we're voting on, and just simply that it's pointing out that the village is anticipating spending over $26 million in FY 2027 for capital and operational expenses. So I think it's important for people to know that
we have to invest in the infrastructure of our community. We have to. Okay. And there was no one else who cared to address the village board about this. Last call for questions. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Kimani Levy?
Aye.
Trustee Robinson?
Aye.
Trustee Iverson?
Aye.
Trustee Lissa Levy?
Aye.
Trustee Pierce-Lovan?
Aye.
Trustee Schechter?
Aye.
And the motion passes.
That item will also come back on August 17th for second reading. Third item is an ordinance for temporary sale and consumption.
If you had 3/4 cup of coffee, 1/2 cup of milk.
Sorry.
That's not the type of beverage we're discussing here. An ordinance for the temporary sale and consumption of alcoholic liquor on public right-of-way municipal property. This is for the backlot bash that will be happening on the end of August, hosted by the Park District. The Park District obtains a liquor license specifically for this special event. What this ordinance does is that will allow the sale of liquor on portions of the public right-of-way, which I believe includes parts of Oakton and other municipal parking lots. The ordinance actually shows the areas where this will be allowed and the conditions and hours when the sale will be permitted. And in all liquor sales will be, consumption will be limited to I believe, an enclosed fenced-in area.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve? Trustee Robinson, is there a second? Trustee Kimani Levy, any discussion by the board? Can you believe this is the 19th backlot bash? That is amazing. Hats off to the Park District and the village and everyone involved. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to address the village board about this? Okay, hearing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Kimani Levy?
Aye.
Trustee Robinson?
Aye.
Trustee Iverson?
Aye.
Trustee Lissa Levy?
Aye.
Trustee Pierce-Lovan?
Aye.
Trustee Schechter?
Aye.
Thank you, and the motion passes.
The fourth item is a code amendment to Chapter 10 of the Village Code regarding the retail sale of alcoholic liquor. The reason that this code amendment is required is because the state has added to the Illinois Liquor Act a definition for a Class 3 craft distiller. And there is one business, I believe, in the village that holds that class of state license. And this is important for them that this be incorporated into the local ordinance to recognize the fact that this business will now have the rights under the state to do something that is very important for small liquor business, small alcoholic liquor retailers, which is to be able to sell directly to packaged good retailers without going through a distributor. Illinois has a system that was set up after Prohibition, which basically splits the sale of liquor from manufacturers, distributors, and then retailers. Those distributors were put in place to prevent the prevalence of what were known as tied houses. I could go on and probably talk for an hour about that. It's one of my strange obsessions. The point is that this allows a small business to actually bypass that and sell directly to licensed liquor stores and restaurants.
Thank you. I'd ask for a motion to approve. Trustee Iverson, is there a second? Trustee Kimani Levy. This is a really good example of our continuing work to support small business in the community. It's for Take Flight Spirits. They are trying now to market their distilled spirits directly to retailers, and this step will bring us into alignment with the state code that will allow them to do that directly without having to go through a distributor. So again, this, to Trustee Schechter's point about half an hour ago, this is another example of our work to support our small businesses. Any comments from the board? Is there anyone in the audience who would like to address the village board about this matter? Being none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Kimani Levy?
Aye.
Trustee Robinson?
Aye.
Trustee Iverson?
Aye.
Trustee Lisalivi?
Aye.
Trustee Pierce-Lovan?
Aye.
Trustee Schechter?
Aye. Thank you, the motion passes.
The last ordinance on my report is an ordinance which is deleting certain property from the downtown science and technology redevelopment area. This is really a cleanup matter. There was a small parcel of property that previously was owned by the village that is located at 1820 North Lincoln. It is directly adjacent to 8118 North Lincoln, and was actually deeded to the owner of that property. One of the issues is that little sliver, which is really about the size of a side yard, was included in the downtown science and technology redevelopment area. However, the property that it was consolidated with, or that was sold to, that property directly to the south was never part of the TIF. There's a kind of a little sawtooth that, and now the property owner seeks to actually consolidate those two properties into one PIN, and the Cook County Assessor's Office rightfully took issue with it because one small portion of it would be in a tax increment financing district, and the larger part would not. So they could not be consolidated into one PIN. So we've been working with the local Cook County Commissioner's Office to assist this resident. And although this does affect the map of the downtown science and technology redevelopment area, this change is considered under law so de minimis because it will not actually affect any obligations. It will not, since it was previously owned by the village and it's such a small parcel, it will not affect any of the actual incremental revenue, that we do not have to go through the full JRB and public hearing aspects. This is something that we can do just by ordinance.
Thank you. Is there a motion to concur? Trustee Schechter, seconded by Trustee Kamani Levy. Any questions from the board? Any questions from the audience? There being none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Kamani Levy?
Aye.
Trustee Robinson?
Aye.
Trustee Iverson?
Aye.
Trustee Lisalivi?
Aye.
Trustee Pierce-Lovan?
Aye.
Trustee Schechter?
Aye.
And the motion carries. And just to put a point on it, items C, D, and E will be back for second read and final adoption, consideration for final adoption on August 17th, correct?
Correct.
Okay, great.
So this last item, no, actually it's the second to last item, it was actually up for full approval, which is a resolution approving a plat of subdivision for the property located at 9050 Keystone Avenue in the R1 Single Family Residential District. This is one property that is owned by a single owner, but has multiple PINs, is actually two separate parcels, and they are seeking a plat of consolidation into one lot. It is a relatively simple consolidation. And I believe, I'm not sure if there's any actual development plans for this. Director Nyden is shaking her head. So this is really just a lot cleanup.
Any questions from the board? Trustee Schechter.
Yeah, thank you. I was kind of confused when I read this because I'm wondering how did it happen that we have one owner, one house on 5 lots? How was this allowed to happen, and what happens in the future? I mean, can it be, I don't know, divided again or upzoned? I guess it isn't an R1 district, but just the whole thing is a little confusing to me.
If I may, the village has a policy when entities come before us to consolidate PINs if there's multiple PINs on a property. And so by routine, the village's goal is to reduce, if there's multiple PINs, to reduce it down to one parcel when there's property at question. But Johanna's department, the Director of Community Development, oversees this process and will provide some additional insight.
So Skokie has lots of pins, and there's buildings that sit on several pins. And so as Manager Lockerbie pointed out, we strive to reduce the number of pins, consolidate them. It makes it easier from the item just before you is an example of where Having multiple pins and small slivers makes it confusing for tax purposes, our assessor. So whenever this particular property, there's not a redevelopment, but they're seeking to do some improvements. When we review a property for building permits, we want to make sure everything's on one pin. And so that is the position that this particular property owner's in. Our code says you have to be on one pin.
And Director Knight, I'm just looking at this. There is an existing single-family home that actually crosses all of the existing lot lines. So this is not something where it would be. The home itself appears to cross.
Yeah, and a pin does not mean it's a developable parcel. Some pins are sometimes 14 feet, or in the case of the one, again, just before, it's like 4 feet. So these are not, a pin does not equate to a developable parcel or development opportunity in R1 or anywhere else. It is the lot on which the property is considered as a whole.
Any other questions from the board?
Thank you for that. That helps. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Nyden. Any other comments or questions from the board? Anyone from the community care to ask us a question or Ms. Nyden on this? Okay, there being none, I'd ask for a motion to approve and adopt the resolution. The resolution approving a plat of subdivision for the property located at 9050 Keystone Avenue, Skokie, Illinois, in the R1.
Mayor, I'll move.
Thank you, Trustee Pierce-Lovan. A second by Trustee Kamani Levy. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Kamani Levy?
Aye.
Trustee Robinson?
Aye.
Trustee Iverson?
Aye.
Trustee Lissa Levy?
Aye.
Trustee Pierce-Lovan?
Aye.
Trustee Schechter?
Aye. Thank you, and the motion passes.
The last item that I have on the Corporation Council report is a request for a closed session for discussion under 2C11 of the Illinois Open Meetings Act pertaining to the review and discussion of pending litigation, and 2C6 for setting a price and consideration for the sale of land.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the closed session as presented by council? Thank you, Trustee Robinson, second by Trustee Kamani Levy. Any questions? Questions from the audience? Okay, will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Kamani Levy?
Aye.
Trustee Robinson?
Aye.
Trustee Iverson?
Aye.
Trustee Lissa Levy?
Aye.
Trustee Pierce-Lovan?
Aye.
Trustee Schechter?
Aye. Thank
Mayor.
you, and the motion passes.
Mayor, thank you. That concludes the Corporation Council's report tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Weiss. The next item on the agenda, there's no unfinished business. The next item on the agenda is under new business. It's a very exciting item that has to do with putting in place the Youth Commission, the new Youth Commission that this board approved in March. We approved it in March. We advertised for students ages or in high school to apply. We had a great response from all over the community. We had nearly 40 applicants. 30 of those students who applied opted to come in for a 30-minute interview. I would like to thank trustees Iverson and Pierce-Lovan for sitting in with me on a number of those interviews. I was also joined by the mayor's office intern this summer, Eliza Lampert, sat in, and the way the ordinance was written, it calls for 16 seats. When this memo was crafted last week, what I was asking you to consider was increasing the seats to 22. The kids were that good. We had so many wonderful, wonderful students with a myriad of life experiences representing every culture, many, many cultures, religions, socioeconomic diversity. Couldn't ask for a more diverse group. After this memo was written and after the agenda was published, it came to my attention that there was an oversight in our outreach, and we did not reach out specifically to District 202, which is Evanston Township High School District. So what I am going to ask the board to do tonight is to not just amend the number of individuals who can serve on the commission from 16 to 22. But what I'd ask is to amend it to go to up to 25 youth. So that what we will do is we will work closely with, my office will work closely with our colleague trustee Keith Robinson to have concentrated outreach to Evanston Township High School District. We will seek applications from students, and they will be afforded the opportunity to go through the interview process like the others, and we will point up. So what we will do is we've already set the 22, but we will add up to 3 more students from ETHS. And next year, again, we're learning, this is a pilot. Next year, we will make sure that there is ample outreach to all of our schools. So with that said, with the board's consideration of that, we will then have at least as many appointments as possible done in August. The ETHS appointments may need to follow a little bit. Trustee Robinson, when does school start?
The same day as our next board meeting.
Okay. So some of those appointments may lag into September, but we will get everyone onboarded and to begin the important and exciting work of this commission. One other thing I'll note, just for my colleagues before I ask for a motion and then we talk, it quickly became clear that there were some common threads among what the students brought. Concerns about isolation due to social media, concerns about mental health of teens, some stemming from social media, some stemming from cultural norms and stigma around social media. There also is a real desire for places for teens to gather. This is kind of the age-old, decades-long desire for teens, but especially we heard it loud and clear now because of social media. There's a desire for spaces that are safe, that are cost-effective for students to get together and to be together and to socialize. And they all really are excited about being involved with policy and program setting. So Anne Marie Benuzzi is part of our social work staff who is going to be overseeing the Youth Commission. She is going to be joined by our social worker, Brian McHugh. Brian is part of our co-responder team. So Brian McHugh and Ms. Benuzzi will staff that commission. So before we get to our discussion, I would ask for a motion to increase the number of individuals who can serve on the commission from 16 to up to 25. Is there a motion to that regard? Trustee Kamani Levy is making the motion, seconded by Trustee Gail Schechter. Comments, questions? Trustee Robinson.
Appreciate it. First of all, super happy to be the liaison to the Youth Commission and all the wonderful work that we'll do. I just want to make sure that we're looking at the numbers and the students who are participating the most equitable way to support our community, our entire community. So I know this is the first time out the gate, and we're making a concerted effort to really be inclusive, but I know it's super exciting, to work with young people. I do it every day, and I know the energy that they can bring, the ideas and the energy that they have, and the care they have for themselves and our community.
Mm-hmm.
So really looking forward to supporting that work.
Yeah. Meeting with these students was just really a great experience. Thank you for that, Trustee Robinson. Any other comments or questions from the board? Is there anyone who would like to address the board on this matter? Okay, there being none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Kamani Levy?
Aye.
Trustee Robinson?
Aye.
Trustee Iverson?
Aye.
Trustee Lissa Levy?
Aye.
Trustee Pierce-Lovan?
Aye.
Trustee Schechter?
Aye.
Thank you, and the motion passes. More to come on that. Now we move to the Plan Commission reports. Ms. Nyden, Community Development Director Johanna Nyden.
Okay, okay, while we get the presentation up, I think it's right there. The Plan Commission recommends Village Board approval of two items tonight. Case 2025-12P, an alley vacation at 9139 Laramie, and case 2025-13P, a zoning text amendment for 5142 Arcadia. So you can see there's this small hashed area right here. This is the subject area we're talking. Arcadia is here, Laramie's here. And the three parties representing two property owners are in the back, and are here for any questions if you so need them. Both cases were voted and recommended by the Plan Commission by a vote of 7 ayes, 0 nays. So the property owner, Mr. Lanell James and Mr. Robert Kroll, are requesting the vacation of that small portion of the alley, and that would be approximately 740 square feet to Mr. James and 64 square feet to Mr. Kroll. This sort of speaks to the interesting pins and alleys, a real-life example of some of the interesting intricacies of our platted properties throughout the village. Mr. James seeks to construct a code-compliant garage on his property. So again, this is the little close-up here. So the garage would be back here. And the additional space, that extra 740 square feet, will permit him to do this, and that alley will come off of Terminal and come into that off-street parking garage. The vacated property, again, would be, is right now it's split between two districts. When we do projects, we like to try to stick to one zoning, so that remaining portion that is currently B2 would be moved into R2. So that's case 13P. And while these are tied together, they are two separate cases and would be voted upon separately.
Thank you. So we'll take them one at a time. A motion is in order to approve Plan Commission Case 2026-12P, alley vacation for 9139 Laramie Avenue. Is there a motion to concur? Trustee Robinson, thank you. Second by Trustee Kamani Levy. Any discussion? Anyone in the audience who would care to address the board? Being none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Kamani Levy? Aye. Trustee Robinson?
Aye.
Trustee Iverson?
Aye.
Trustee Lissa Levy?
Aye.
Trustee Pierce-Lovin?
Aye.
Trustee Schechter?
Aye. Thank you. The motion is approved. The next item is to approve Plan Commission Case 2026-13P, the zoning map amendment for 5142 Arcadia Street. Is there a motion to approve? Trustee Iverson, second by Trustee Kamani Levy. Any comments or questions from the board? Any from the community? There being none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Kamani Levy?
Aye.
Trustee Robinson?
Aye.
Trustee Iverson?
Aye.
Trustee Lissa Levy?
Aye.
Trustee Pierce-Lovin?
Aye.
Trustee Schechter?
Aye. And the motion passes. So this is approved. Thank you for hanging in here. This was a long meeting, so thank you. Okay. The next item on our agenda are public comments. Sir, you've been very patient. Please. Your 3 minutes starts now.
Good evening, trustees. I'm here to bring up something that we had in the past voted on, short-term contract. We might not want to listen to this because we've already voted on it, but its language is what I'm talking about. What I'm saying is this: if we allow a short-term contract, which is a resident renting out his property, and he doesn't live here, which we understand that too in some cases, we would like the language to state, if you're going to rent it out for a short term, please don't rent it out to somebody that's hauling junk, meaning he goes through the alley and he hauls garbage, and if you do that, then what happens is when they move into the area for a short time, it's a bad blemish on the location. Now, I'm not trying to deprive anybody of making a living, because in our area, I have a junker, okay? And we lived with it for quite a long time, and we tolerated it. And down the way, there was another family that wasn't so nice and created a rat issue in our area, and we resolved that issue by getting rid of the people. Okay, now all I'm saying is, we're trying to make it nice. But if short-term contract is going to allow people to come in the area for a short time, or maybe 6 months, because I have 2 people across the alley from me that are on short-term. One's got a house in Morton Grove that's being rehabbed, and he'll move back in there in maybe 6 months or so. The other one is a contract where the person just was brought into the property, and he has this junk truck. And I asked the person what's going on, and he pointed to me, well, if you got a junker down the street over on your same block right over here, it's okay. That's the mentality of the way they think about us. Now, these people do not live here. And I've heard many of our people talk about these same issues that I'm bringing up now. And the only reason I'm bringing it up now is because I'm asking the village to look into the language that says, maybe can we not allow a short-term junker to move in, just because we don't want to keep making our area worse. It's not getting better if we do that. That's the issue tonight on that. I appreciate you taking the time, but I'd like to bring up another one really quick. I got 19 seconds, okay? The other one is this. Right down the street, we have a fire station. It's a monument. It's our history, you know, Skokie's history, the old fire station. And back of that is...
And I'm so sorry, but your time is up.
Okay.
You've been here enough to know we're precise about it. But save that time, please, if you can, come back next time, because I'd like to hear that. Sir, would you kind of, and we didn't get your name, would you just quickly for the record...
My name is Mike Irwin, live in Skokie 40 years.
Okay, Mike Irwin, Skokie resident. Mr. Irwin, after we adjourn, which will be in just a moment or two, I expect, would you kindly linger and give your name and address to our Deputy Village Clerk, Ms. Sylvia Luke? Someone on our staff will follow up with you to get some more information about what's going on your block. Thank you. Okay, is there anyone else who would like to address the village board? So a motion is in order to adjourn, to go into closed session and to adjourn therefrom. Is there a motion to adjourn? Trustee Robinson, Trustee Kamani Levy, any comments or questions? Okay, there being none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Kamani Levy?
Aye.
Trustee Robinson?
Aye.
Trustee Iverson?
Aye.
Trustee Lissa Levy?
Aye.
Trustee Pierce-Lovan?
Aye.
Trustee Schechter?
Aye. The motion passes. We will move to closed session and we'll adjourn therefrom. Thank you for everyone